Hi everyone, welcome to Sprue Tube and episode 1 of a series that we are going to call the crossover. This is going to be a series where Paul and I conduct basically parallel builds. There is going to be a link between the aircraft we're building, so and I'm thinking about some of those that are planned for the future. It could be the same aircraft but a different kit manufacturer. It could be a different version of the same aircraft kit, or it could be aircraft that are historically linked in some ways, and that's what we're doing with this first one. Now, we are going to tell you far more about us and what Sprue Tube is going to be all about, but for now, we're just going to really get cracking with producing some content, and that's why we are moving forward with this crossover video now. Paul and I both have busy lives, as I'm sure you do as well. We're not professionals sitting here making models for museums professionally or anything like that. We have to grab our time in our little workshops, and to that end, we can't really do something like this unless we've got a clear workbench. So we've both finished current projects ready to start series 1 of the crossover. And that for me was a rather nice Hasegawa 48 scale F8J Crusader. So here she is. I'm rather pleased with that. I only returned to modelling in 2026 for reasons that we will explain in a future video when we introduce ourselves. As I said, this Hasegawa kit is the first one I've built for many years, and I really enjoyed it. It's not perfect. There's lots of flaws here, as there are on all my models, and every single one is a learning curve, but I think she's come out really well. I'm very happy with it. Now, these are decals that I bought this set. It's a VF-194 jet from USS Oriskany during the Vietnam War. I actually bought this kit from Paul, from his stash, because I really wanted to build it. And it's not a new kit. And unfortunately, the first decal I used, which actually was going to be for inside the cockpit, just fell apart completely. So I knew that the others weren't going to do the job. So I bought the set of decals and decided to use this aircraft 150864 from as I say, USS Oriskany. Really nice. The sidewinders are from Edouard Brassin AIM 9Bs, and they look fantastic on these double launch rails on the side of the aircraft. So Crusader done, but what am I going to build for the crossover? So here we are, the kit I have decided to build from my stash. I wouldn't have thought I could have developed a stash as quickly as I have, but there we go. Seemingly building a stash up is an inevitability when it comes to aircraft modelling these days. It's the new, because it is still pretty new, Airfix 48 scale Sepcat Jaguar GR1 GR1A. This is an aircraft that I remain very fond of. My dad was in the Air Force. His older brother, my uncle, was in the Air Force, and growing up my uncle lived in Poringland, which is near Norwich in Norfolk, East Anglia, and that meant lots of summer holidays in and around Norfolk and Suffolk, and that in turn meant lots of trips to RAF stations, US Air Force bases, and lots of time at the famous crash gate at RAF Coltishall. Jags were 10 a penny over East Anglia back in the 80s. You didn't have to go to Coltishall to see them, because if you were on the beach or anywhere around Norwich, that part of Norfolk, you could almost guarantee you would see Jaguars flying around. So an aircraft still much missed, I think, by the aviation community in the United Kingdom, and of course still flying in India, which is fabulous. So I'm not going to do an unboxing of this kit. I'm almost sure, if you're watching this video, that you've already seen this kit, maybe built this kit, or got a copy, your own copy of this kit in your stash. Now, I did buy some decals a few weeks ago because I hadn't decided exactly which version of the aircraft to build, and I was toying with a 54 Squadron jet, and I picked these up on eBay. As you can see, just a tiny number of the decals have been used, so they only cost me a few quid. But I actually decided after that, having pondered for a while, to build this aircraft. This is from number 2 Squadron, based at Royal Air Force Larbrook in Germany, 1976. This is the aircraft that I have decided to build. Having made that decision, Paul needed to decide what his part of the crossover was going to be, and he has picked something that absolutely has a historical, direct historical link to 2 Squadrons Jaguars, but whilst I am building a very, very new kit, he certainly isn't. So it's over to you, Paul.
Thanks, mate. Hi, everyone. Much like Gareth, I've just finished my previous project. I've just built the Airfix Sea Fury in 1/48 scale. Here it is with the wings folded. It's a really nice little kit. I really enjoyed building it, to be honest. It took me a little while, there's a bit of a gap in between, but yeah, nice one. Built it in the Fleet Air Arm colours. Didn't put the exercise bands on in the end, so I thought it was a bit too colourful. It sounds wrong, that, really, but I just quite like the more operational feel of that colour scheme. But anyway, moving on from that, it seemed like an opportune time that we both had our workbenches cleared, so to speak. And when Gareth told me he was planning on building the Jaguar next, I thought I'd try and build something that was slightly related to it. I considered building the original Airfix Jaguar. I do have one of those in my stash. But I wanted to try something a little bit different, so along the same lines but different. Obviously Gareth and I will give you a little bit more of detail about how we got into modelling, but for me, I've been doing it for a little bit longer than he has, so I've developed a rather more extensive stash. Some might call it problematic. They'd be wrong. Anyway, I like to think of it as a little bit like a wine cellar, so I went to have a little peruse in there, had a little think about what I wanted to build, where I wanted to come from, and what I ended up settling on was this 48 scale Phantom. So this is the British Phantom. It's the Revel boxing from the early 2000s. It's originally a Hasegawa kit, so it's really rather nice. I'd like to point out the price, actually. I don't know if you can see that. I picked this up in Model Zone in the sale. £9.99. Under a tenner for a 48 scale F4. Yes, please. Anyway, so I've had this kit for a number of years now, obviously, and wanted to do something a bit different with it. Couldn't really figure out what I wanted to make out of it. But when Gareth brought up the subject of building the Jag in 2 Squadron colours, I thought this was an ideal opportunity to dig into this kit and use it for something. So it's the usual Revel annoying end opening box, which I think they've moved on from. But yeah, let's have a look at what you get inside. So let's take a look at what's in the box. Open the end opening box and inside. First thing we can see is the instructions. Again, very much Revel, early 2000s. Looks like it's been photocopied, but it's fairly, still fairly decent instructions. And it's not the most complicated of kits. It's fairly simple, really, when it comes down to it. So it's all there. All that you need is there. And we'll come back to the colour schemes in a sec. The decal sheet, that should give an idea of why I've chosen this kit. So you can see here we've got 2 Squadron markings. So 2 Squadron was an F4 unit in the early 1970s. Since the Second World War, the squadrons traditionally had a tactical reconnaissance role, normally been based in Germany, part of RAF Germany. And the F4 was no exception. So the F4 flew with a reconnaissance pod, EMI reconnaissance pod, which is actually in here. You can't really see it very well, but there will be a pod to go on the aircraft. And the F4 was the aircraft that gave way then to the Jaguar when that came in service. And continuing with the reconnaissance theme as well there, as Gareth will be covering when he does his build. The plastic itself is pretty well detailed, to be honest. You know, this is not the sort of kit that you get from Hasegawa these days. It's not the sort of kit you get from most of the Chinese manufacturers or modern Airfix, but it still stands up pretty well. I think it's reasonably accurate, and you know, this has only been really the only game in town if you want to build an Ori FF4 up until the release of the Airfix kit, which at the time of recording is going to happen sometime this year. Obviously that looks amazing, but in the meantime this is all that we can work with really for a Spey engine Phantom. Coming on to the colour scheme, obviously 2 Squadron. You can see the aircraft here. This is a slightly later F4. It has the radar warning receiver on the top of the fin, and it's also got the slightly later lower visibility roundels, just in red and blue. What I would like to do is actually build an aircraft with in the earlier scheme, so as they were delivered, without the bump on top of the fin there, just a normal fin outline, and also with red, white and blue roundels. I think I can do that using the decals that come with the kit, but also using my stencil cutter to cut it a new serial and new code letter. In the meantime, I don't think there's anything else that I'm going to add to this kit, to be honest. I think it's going to be pretty much out of the box. I'm not sure whether Gareth is going to do the same thing, so over to you, mate. You're going to tell us a little bit about what you're planning on doing.
Yeah, thanks, Paul. Just to confirm, I am going to build this pretty much straight out the box. I haven't bought any extras for it. I'm going to use the pilot figure, which I haven't really done with any of the kits I've built since I got back into modelling, but I'm going to do a bit of work on the pilot figure because they're a bit dead. Airfix pilot figures just sitting there, not very animated, let's put it that way. But other than that, this one is going to be built out of the box. We may put some removed before flight tags on it. The aircraft includes blanks for the engine and fog covers, etc., which is a really nice addition, I believe. So apart from that, that is my plan. So really looking forward to getting started. I finished my Crusader a few days ago. I haven't done any modelling since, so it's going to be time to get stuck in. I've got a couple of days off of work, a bit of a long weekend coming up, and hopefully family time, etc. allowing, I can get some modelling in. So please do like, subscribe. There's going to be a lot more coming. We've got some big plans for this channel. We want to build models for normal people who make loads of mistakes like we do and learn every time. We are not building museum pieces. As I said, we are, you know, we might have been between us building models for a long time, but I haven't built any models for a long time. So it's a steep old learning curve again, and not always an easy one, but it's great fun. We both really enjoy it. That's what it's all about. So please like, subscribe, get involved. I would love to know if you've built this kit and what you thought of it, but also, have you built the Rebel F4 Phantom?